I'm James Heaney, and this is Brief News Brief. Over the weekend, thousands of protesters rushed to the nation's airports, beckoned by tweets. This was in response to Trump's immigration policy that he signed on Friday and immediately put into action the following day. The executive order forbids millions of refugees, hundreds of thousands of visitors, and 500,000 legal immigrants from 7 majority Muslim countries from entering the United States. Even citizens with green cards will be detained and questioned upon entering the country. Now, if you don't know about green cards, there's an extreme vetting process that goes through it, and once you have it, you're considered a permanent resident that gets all of the same liberties and rights that an American citizen does, except for in this situation, you will now have some extra hoops to jump through for the Trump administration. On Saturday night, a judge in Brooklyn ordered Trump to stop deporting refugees and visitors that immigration authorities had previously cleared to enter the country. 2 judges in Massachusetts ordered that travelers who were legally authorized to be in the United States shouldn't be detained or deported from Logan International Airport for a period of at least 7 days. A judge in Seattle halted the deportation of 2 travelers. So there's some people speaking up. Now, when federal judges rule, government officials up to and including the president are supposed to obey or risk being held in contempt of court. Over the weekend, there was little indication that the Trump administration had fully complied with the court orders, or that Trump's inner circle even believed that the administration had to do so. Disobeying a court order is a big deal for any government official. Now, this has come from Abner Green, a law professor at Fordham University. Obedience to specific court orders is what keeps us from being a banana republic or a fascist dictatorship. That's a really big deal. Now, Spicer held a press conference today defending the president's order and says that it simply delayed a few travelers. This was a minor inconvenience, and this is what Americans want. The current administration clearly believes that it has a mandate. Now, on the other side, we got President Obama, who has weighed in for the first time on this issue. He says that he's heartened by the level of engagement taking place in the communities around the country. Meanwhile, jihadist websites have been celebrating this ruling, considering it a great recruiting tool for future terrorists. Senator Jeff Merkley, a Democrat from Oregon, predicted today that Democrats would launch a filibuster against whoever President Trump picks for Supreme Court. He said, and this is a quote here, "This is a stolen seat, and this is the first time a Senate majority has stolen a seat. We will use every lever in our power to stop this. I will definitely object to a simple majority." Filibusters against picks for the top court remain very rare. There are heated tensions around the judicial branch ahead of Trump's announcement, which is expected on Tuesday. Republicans refused to give Merrick Garland, who was President Obama's pick, to replace the conservative Justice Antonin Scalia. They didn't give him a vote or a hearing at all. Now, 52 Republicans hold seats in the Senate, but they need 8 more Democrats to vote with them to break a filibuster. The GOP could also opt for the nuclear option by changing Senate rules to get rid of the 60-vote threshold for a Supreme Court nominee. But Mitch McConnell has repeatedly signaled that he does not want to take that step. Although Trump has signaled he would be happy to see that step, he loves nuclear options. The Democrats have signaled that because of the way Obama's justice selection was blocked, that they might not want to continue the tradition of having 9 judges. Historically, there have always been 9 justices on the court. I'm sorry, did I say there always has? That can't be true, because it's flip-flopped around a lot. In fact, the U.S. Constitution left it to Congress to decide how many justices should make up the court. Now, the Judiciary Act, and follow with me, of 1789 set the number at 6. In 1807, Congress increased the justices to 7. In 1837, they were like, this is going great, let's get more in the party. They brought it to 9. In 1863, they were like, party, 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 and they made it 10. Then in 1866, they were like, this is getting crowded, and they shrank it down to 7. Then 3 years later, they were like, 7's just not enough to party. So then they brought it back to the number 9 in 1869, and that's where it stood ever since. Are you planning on visiting Austria's beautiful churches and scenery this year? If you're not on the list, then get to the back of the line. The small village of Hallstatt, known for its picturesque churches and Mountainside Views has hired that guy that used to play football at your school to block tour groups from interrupting church services and even funerals with their selfie sticks and collective confusion. Bouncers are said to be set up around the village as a precaution, but insist that the sites will be open to the public at appropriate times, just not when I want to go in. I've been standing outside this church for 2 hours in the cold, yet the guy keeps letting babes into the church and tells me every 10 minutes that it'll only be a few minutes. But for a 10 spot, he'll let me in to go see communion. Typical elitist holier-than-thou security treatment. It's poll tally time. Boy, am I glad to be back in the States where it's nice and warm and I have freedom. Back to polls where you can't vote in Austria, but you can vote here. And the first question is the media the opposition party? 38% said no, but a very close one said 37% said it was the support party. Now, typically that would be a loser situation, but then we had a full 25% to add in there that just said yes. The media is good. I'm part of the media, so I'm a little biased. I didn't vote this time because I didn't want to sway it. All right. Have you ever donated to FEMA? The answer is no. But some people possibly did through Humble Bundles. I myself might have. I just split it 3 ways: to developer, Humble Bundle, and whatever donation they got going on. And final wrap up from last week's polls. Is global warming real? Yup it is. All right. I know you're itching for it. You all weekend, you're like, oh, I don't feel like I'm a free person anymore. I need to vote on something. Don't worry. We got your polls here, okay? Is the travel ban what Americans want? If you're not American, you can still vote. But just keep in mind, you're voting about what you think Americans want, okay? And next, will you be satisfied with just 8 justices? Would you? Would you be satisfied if we only had 8? And finally, have you ever been to Australia? Not Austria. Don't be swayed. I'm asking about Australia.